Before I get started today, I'd like to kindly ask that you take advantage of the high ground you have on the like button and chop its legs off when it tries to attack you. And please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Well, we've almost made it. 2020 is very nearly coming to a close.
Jesus fucking Christ, it's about time!
But I'm already looking ahead to 2021, and I want to make this the best year yet for the channel. Mind you, I've rebooted this channel more times than the Spider-Man franchise.
Anybody care about what I want?
I do.
Shut up. Get out.
But it was necessary for me to do so to grow as a content creator and to adapt to new circumstances. And now it appears that Real Shift is here to stay, and I need everyone's help to help make it grow. What I do on this channel mostly is review movies. And one thing that I've tooled with in the past is different ways of rating movies when I review them. I've used the scale of 1 to 10, I've used the scale of 1 to 5, but when I use those scales, I always found myself comparing movies that aren't really comparable. I'd be like, if I gave this a 10, then I have to give this a 9. It just causes too much confusion, and honestly, I find that scale to be pretty boring. I also tried a much more simple approach by either recommending a movie at the end of a review or not recommending it. But a lot of times when you're reviewing movies, it's just not that cut and dry. There's good movies and bad movies, sure, but there's also bad movies that you look at as guilty pleasures. And there's good movies that don't have a lot of rewatchability. Hell, I even watch movies that don't cause a reaction in me one way or another. So my goal for 2021 was to come up with a new movie rating system that works for me and is unique to the channel. So without further ado, this is the rating system that I will be using for all future movie reviews starting in 2021. This goes for new releases and retro reviews. So I, like many movie fans, love movie quotes. So I wanted to incorporate clips of some of my favorite movie quotes in the rating system in some way. And the first tier in my rating system will simply be called the Bill and Ted. So when you hear and see this at the end of a movie review,
Excellent!
you know that's a rating I will only give top tier films in my opinion. We're talking masterpieces, like movies that I'm going to purchase, because you can see I love my physical copies. And I'm going to watch these movies over and over again for years to come. And it should be noted that they may be perfect to me, but not necessarily perfect to you. This rating will also be reserved for older films that obviously had a huge influence on me. To give a Star Wars movie that would fit into this category, it would easily be The Empire Strikes Back, the best Star Wars movie ever made. The second tier of my new system will be the pleased Palpatine rating.
Good.
This will be reserved in general for good or even great movies that I don't necessarily deem perfect, but in some cases they may be pretty damn close to it. Or they may at least have more good things in them than bad. It should be noted that movies in this rating could also be something that I'd consider purchasing. The Star Wars movie I would use as a frame of reference for this rating would be The Revenge of the Sith. Like, I thoroughly enjoy that movie, but I can also recognize that it has its issues, and it's okay to do that, by the way. The third tier in my rating system is the Careless Sam Gerard.
I don't care!
This will be reserved for the movies that I spoke about before. The ones where I watch them and I don't have much of a reaction at all, which can sometimes be worse than a bad reaction, because sometimes with a bad reaction, at least you felt something. Although that's not always the case. The Star Wars movie I'd use this ranking on, it's kind of an unpopular opinion, but it would definitely be Rogue One. A movie that I initially enjoyed but have since become indifferent about, that is unless Darth Vader is on the screen. And now we're getting into the real garbage. Because my fourth movie rating tier is The Angry Rocky.
That's right, it stinks!
I've actually used this to describe some movies on the channel already. Basically, this is going to be reserved for overall bad movies that might not necessarily be unwatchable, but they are pretty damn close to it sometimes. This is the tier where regrets start to creep in and I start to think about whether or not I paid for this movie or not. The best Star Wars movie I can give as a frame of reference for this ranking would be Solo: A Star Wars Story. A completely unnecessary entry into the franchise that has very little redeemable qualities. And now we've reached rock bottom. The tier reserved for the real dog shit, or in this case, Triceratops shit. The final and worst rating I could give a movie is going to be called The Disgusted Ian Malcolm.
That is one big pile of shit.
This ranking is for those movies I deem unwatchable. The movies that make you physically ill and you wonder how they ever got greenlit. Basically the abominations of cinema. The obvious Star Wars movie frame of reference I could give to this ranking would be The Last Jedi, the canon-breaking, character-destroying piece of garbage that it is. I apologize if you like The Last Jedi. But it's the movie that made a diehard Star Wars fan like myself pretty much not care about the franchise afterwards. So that's my new movie review ranking system that will be implemented in 2021 for all my movie reviews. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Right on.